Hey loves, this is Bobby and I'm here with another vlog. And this is going to be vlog number 31. Yes, so I'm very excited. I had a pretty good reading week. I didn't get in as many books as I wanted to, especially my audiobooks, because I had to do this training that was all videos for work, and it took up 3 days of my damn time. So yeah, I didn't get too much reading done, which was a bummer, but it's done and I'm now back to my regular schedule and everything. So there we go. I did finish 4 books. I've started my next book, for which I will tell you what I'm reading, but get into the actual review and everything for next week. And I have book mail because did I already buy a bunch of books this year? Yes, I did. So let's get into this. The first book that I finished this week was The Night of the Dragon by Julie Kagawa. This is the 3rd book in the Shadow of the Fox trilogy, and holy crap, you guys, it was phenomenal. I can't really get into this because this is the 3rd and final book, but we follow the characters and everything, and it's a conclusion, and my heart still hurts. I read this at the beginning of the week. I think I finished it on Monday, and I'm still not okay. Like, it was so beautiful. It was action-packed. The characters were amazing. I had a feeling what happened was going to happen, and even though I knew, I had this deep gut feeling it was going to happen, I still was not ready when it happened, and I was just sitting there like, no. I didn't cry like tears or anything, but I was just a mess afterwards. My heart hurt, but it was such a beautiful story. Absolutely just full of action. You can check out my vlog from last week where I talk about what the series is about. But yes, I fully recommend this series. I have the Immortal Rules by Julie Kogawa. I've actually had that. I have the first 2 books, I think. I've had them for quite a few years. Now that I have read something by Julie Kagawa, though, I definitely want to read more of hers because I really enjoyed her writing. I loved her characters. So if you've read the Immortal Rules and you have read Shadow of the Fox, let me know how they kind of like go up against each other, like if the writing is still like really great and everything, and her characters, because her characters are my favorite. Like, I love the way she wrote her characters. It was just phenomenal, but my heart hurts so bad. I do want to do a review on all 3 of these books. It'll have to definitely be a spoilery one because it's kind of hard to talk about a series, but I want to get into this one because I just absolutely loved it. The Night of the Dragon ended up being 5 stars. It was phenomenal. The other 2 books, Shadow of the Fox and Soul of the Sword, were both 4 stars, but I could see myself giving them 5. Like, they're like 4.5 because they were just amazing and I loved everything about them. They were just so much fun. So there we go. The next book that I got into, I don't know how to talk about, so let's just dive straight in. That is Bunny by Mona Awad. I don't know what I read. It was confusing, made no sense, and really fucking weird. I still managed to guess the huge plot twist, and I think I might have accidentally joined a cult. That sums up this book for me. I don't know what the hell I read. Half of this book doesn't make any sense. We follow the story of a girl named Samantha who she goes to this university, and they have like an elite writing program because she wants to be an author or a writer of some sort. They don't really dive into what the hell she actually wants to be writing. So, and there is this group of girls that go by the Bunnies. They all talk about each other. They call each other Bunny. I started physically, switched over to the audiobook because the writing was really weird and I kept getting really distracted while trying to read it physically. So I'm like, okay, let's try the audiobook. It really didn't make too much of a difference. It was just a weird fucking book. And the way the girls, the bunnies, talk is equivalent to nails on the chalkboard. It is very, oh my god, Bunny, you are just so amazing, Bunny. I love you, Bunny. You're just so beautiful and your writing is so amazing, Bunny, 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 Bunny. The word bunny is written like 12,000 times in this book, and it's not even that long of a book. Samantha eventually gets invited because they are kind of like leave her as an outcast, but she's very much the, I'm not like other girls. I wear black and I don't wear makeup. So yeah, none of them are, there is not a single like likable character. This is not a book where if you like likable characters or you have to make a connection with a character, I would not recommend this for that because you don't like a single character in this. There was a boy that he was all right. I want to say his name was Noah, but I think that might actually be a boy from a different book I was reading. I want to say Noah, so we're just gonna call him Noah, and that might actually be wrong. But hey, sorry, Noah. He was interesting, but yeah, there's supposed to be this huge plot twist to it. Saw it coming immediately, like as soon as we are introduced. I guessed where this was going, and I was right. But at the same time, I still don't understand half of the other part of the book. This book is either really, really smart or really, really stupid. I can't decide. Or I'm really, really smart or really, really stupid. One or the other. Don't know which one. And when she gets invited to the bunnies writing group, they do a smut salon where they just kind of like write really, really, really bad smut. And I mean really bad, weird smut. Like, you dive into the dark side of the smut. And I've read some really weird written fan fiction. Theirs puts that to shame. But they end up summoning these men that are made from bunnies. I even say bunny like that now. Like, please someone shoot me because I can't stop saying it because of listening to the audiobook and how much they say bunny and they say bunny. So I keep saying bunny like that now. So I'm very sorry. Please someone smack me so I can stop doing that. I never want to see the word bunny again. So they are these hybrid men bunny people things that keep dying, and I don't know if they were actually real. Like, I'm honestly confused, but like at the same time, I said I like one of the other huge plot twists. It was completely obvious where that was going. And she ends up ditching her best friend to go to that smut salon, and she puts a strain on her relationship, and then she's eventually told exactly how they're doing this, and she's supposed to kind of be able to do it as well, and they're kind of like this weird creepy cult. And there are 4 bunnies, I believe. Samantha eventually becoming the 5th, but I don't remember one of the other bunnies. So there might have only been 3 and then Samantha's the 4th. I have no idea. So the bunnies all go by basically 3 names, so it gets really fucking confusing. They all call each other Bunny, and then Samantha has her own nicknames for them. I don't know if there was 3 or 4 bunnies because I kept getting really confused because of the different names that kept popping up. But the ones I remember are Creepy Doll, Cupcake, and the Duchess. And then we go by their actual like given names. So you get really confused on who the hell is who in this, and then you have Samantha who eventually becomes a bunny, and it's just bunny. But yeah, it was weird. It's very dark, very kind of, it's got really good creepy elements, but like I said at the end, I don't actually understand what the hell just happened in this book. So yeah, if you read this and you have a review, let me know, because I would actually love to watch someone else's review on this book, because I'm still trying to make heads or tail, but I don't actually want to think about it because this book wasn't good enough to really kind of keep thinking about, because like I said, I guessed it and then I was just confused, and then it got really fucking irritating with the bunny. So yeah, I don't know. This is one of those books where you have to read for yourself to kind of decide whether you liked it or not. I went with 2 stars because I honestly don't know how else to rate this book. After that, for some damn reason, I have 2 gut-wrenching books on this TBR, so I'm like, let me get one in at the beginning and then I'll do the other one afterwards. So I went with the one that is going to be a reread for me, and I did the audiobook for this one because I have read it physically, and when I had mentioned I read it physically before, people kept saying that the audiobook was phenomenal. I read it back in 2019, which was before I was able to really get myself to do audiobooks. So I wanted to try the audiobook now, and holy crap, you guys, it made so much of a difference, and I'm still not okay. That book is Sadie by Courtney Summers. This book absolutely destroyed my soul the first time I read it. The last 50 pages was me laying in bed crying so hard I couldn't finish the book because I couldn't see the words because my eyes were just tears. And absolutely amazing book, though. We follow the story of a girl named Sadie who she has gone missing because she has went to look for the man that murdered her sister. And so we have part of the story told from Sadie's point of view on where she's going and why she's doing what she's doing, and it talks about her relationship with her sister because her sister was younger. Her sister was 13 when she was murdered, and we also take So she's in the past, and then in the now, we're following the story of a man named West, who Sadie's kind of adopted grandmother has gotten a hold of him because he does these podcasts, and she tells him she wants his help to help her track down Sadie because she wants to know where the hell she's at. She misses her, she's worried about her, and Sadie's literally just kind of jumped off the face of the planet. Nobody knows what happened to her. And the deeper we dive in, he realizes this is not going anywhere good. Like I said, this was a reread for me, and then listening to it, there were a lot of parts in here where when I was listening to it, I remember where the story was going, and I got so emotional while like I was baking at work, and I'm standing there like trying not to cry. And then when I got to the end, thankfully, I had already finished my training, so the rest of the guys had to go downstairs to do the training, and I was basically alone in the kitchen by myself. I went and I hid in our dish pit, and I sat there listening to the rest of the audiobook with my like head in my knees, just trying not to cry out loud because I was just like felt tears coming. Thankfully, I don't wear makeup to work because I have a mask on and I literally don't give a fuck. I go to work like a gremlin, so I didn't have to worry about any makeup. My eyes were puffy and I was just a mess because, this book just is gut-wrenching for me. Like, it just hits. The other book, though, is Monday's Not Coming, which I'm going to wait to read towards the end of the month because I don't know how I would deal with reading two really heavy books like this. There are a lot of content warning for this book. Please look them up, but the main one is sexual assault of children, as well as a murder of a child. But yes, we don't go into big details, but it hurts. This book hurts so much, but it's so beautifully written, and Courtney Summers is one of those authors where every one of her books hurts me, and I thank her for it. I have thanked her on Twitter for it, and she always responds. She's absolutely amazing. But yeah, her books hurt, and I will continue to pick up her books no matter what. So I finished Sadie at within the first 2 hours of being at work on Thursday, I think it was. So I needed something that was going to be either funny or lighter or just something. I had been wanting to pick this up, and it was because everyone kept saying it was really, really funny. I had it recommended in a Facebook fantasy group, and they just said it was hilarious. I was going to read it physically, but I wanted something I knew that was going to kind of make me laugh, and I had an Audible credit, so I ended up just down and doing the audiobook for it, and I loved the audiobook. So that is The Kings of the Wild by Nicholas Eames. Holy crap, you guys, this book is amazing. It is so much fun. We follow the story of this band. They're an ex-band of mercenaries. They have all split up. They're all middle-aged. They have their own families. They've, got their own thing going on. While one of them, his daughter, ends up following him as a mercenary. She ends up getting captured, and he wants to go and save her. So the only way he knows how to do that is to get the band back together. But like I said, they're all dads. They're dad bods. One of them is incredibly kind of like overweight. One of them is batshit crazy. And one of them, they don't know exactly where the hell he's at. And it's just, I laughed so hard. This was the perfect book for me to follow up Sadie with, which was just gut-wrenching, which I was crying because my soul hurt. This, I was crying because I was laughing so hard. And like I've said before, I listened to my audiobooks in a headphone at work, and my boss thought I was nuts because I was in the kitchen by myself because the guys were still doing their training. My boss thought I was losing my damn mind because I'm just standing there walking around the kitchen just cracking up because holy crap. This is very slapstick humor and stuff like that. It's very, we have a scene where all the guys end up, because of a spell, with erections, and they're trying to pull off still being like, we're here to fight type of thing. It is so fucking hilarious, though. I loved every single one of the characters. I honestly can't pick a favorite because I loved all of them because they all each add their own like style to it and their own character. It was amazing. This is a fantasy. We have dragons, we've got magic, we've got weird fantasy kind of creatures. We've got these kind of gladiator games. There are airships. There's so much. We got cannibals, which me and cannibals. but it is just so much fun. I fully on recommend this. I already have the sequel, which is Bloody Rose. I am going to put that on my TBR no matter what for February, because I need more of this, because it was just amazing. Like I said, I loved all the characters and everything. It was just phenomenal. This was 5 stars, easy. Oh, I didn't mention Sadie was 5 stars before it stayed 5 stars. But yes, I fully on recommend this if you want something fun. If you like D&D type of things, you will full on love this. Like I said, every one of these characters are just amazing. I can't get enough. I could definitely see myself wanting to either reread, re-listen to, I don't care what, because this was just great. So those are all the books that I finished this week. I have just started my next book because I'm doing like my laundry and stuff, and I need something to listen to. And I went with Foul is Fair by Hannah Kappen. I was originally going to read this physically, but when I had mentioned I planned on reading this, I had it recommended to me a couple times that the audiobook was really good. So I am doing the audiobook after all, and I got to tell you the audiobook is amazing. This is a Macbeth reimagining, I believe. I might be wrong. I can't remember. I had to look it up originally and now I forgot. But we follow the story of a girl who, she ends up going by the name Jade, because she transfers to a new school, because her and her friends, this does have trigger warnings. The author is an amazing author who has put those trigger warnings on a front page, which is always appreciated. I bow my head to them when they do that, because that is common courtesy. I like to know, even though there's nothing that I really won't read, I still like to know, hey, this is something I should look into, especially for other people. I have a lot of friends that cannot read anything to do with rape. This does have rape mentioned in here. It's not explicit. It doesn't go into full detail, but it is mentioned because the girl Jade, for her 16th birthday, her and her friends decide to crash this party thrown by, they're like the who's who of this like Catholic school. And when she's there, she ends up getting drugged and raped. And she knows that no one is going to do anything to these boys because they are rich, their parents are influential, nothing will happen to them. So her and her friends, they decide they're going to get revenge. They are going to make these boys pay for what they did to her and every other girl. And let me tell you, the writing is phenomenal. The prose are fucking beautiful. Like, this is just the way it feels like I'm in a dream. It has that really great kind of dramatic, kind of Shakespeare feel to it, but very modern. It's just, I am loving this. Thank you to everybody that recommended I check the audiobook out. This was a cover buy for me. I had never heard this book mentioned anywhere. I had just seen the cover and I thought it was absolutely beautiful. I love the colors and everything. So her and her friend, they call themselves Coven, and they are just going to wreak havoc on these boys, and it is just, it is. But there is quite a few trigger warnings mentioned in here. It is sexual assault, rape culture, violence, as well as abusive relationships, a suicide attempt, and a brief scene with transphobic bullying. One of the 4 girls in Jade's coven is a trans girl, and we also have one of the other girls is in love with one of the other friends. I'm actually really curious how that's going to play out. I love the relationship because all 4 girls are, best friends, but the character Jade and the character Mads, which is the trans girl, they are like the 2, everyone, even in your group of best friends, you have like the 2 that just kind of like latch on to each other. I love their relationship so much so far. Like, they just love each other, and you can just see it. Like, those 2 will do fucking anything for each other. Even though the whole group will do anything, those 2 are they will literally walk into like the pits of hell together. I need to finish this immediately because I'm like hooked. Like, I'm probably like the rest of the day just going to be listening to this. So I will talk about how the rest of my feelings are and how this wraps up. But like I said, I've never heard it mentioned, but when you look up the reviews, it's a really highly rated book. So as of right now, I fully recommend this book. So that wraps up my reading week. For next week, I plan on reading, I think The Beautiful, which is by Renee Ahdieh, which is the vampire book. And then I want to do Hitchhiker's Guide and The Princess Bride. Princess Bride and Hitchhikers are both going to be audiobooks. The Beautiful I'll probably be reading physically. And then I need to catch up on Fable, which is the book I'm supposed to be doing for the book club, and I'm already a week behind because there's no excuse. I'm just behind. So really quick book mail that I got. First was Strange Ink by Gary Kimball. I had this recommended in a horror book group that I'm in on Facebook, and this guy just starts waking up with these really gory, horrific tattoos, and every night he wakes up with, every morning when he wakes up, he has more, and he's trying to figure out where they're coming from, what do they mean. This reminds me of the movie Memento, which is a really cool movie, so I'm very curious on where the hell this is going. The next one is a sci-fi, since I want to get into more sci-fi, and that is The Outside by Ada Hoffman. This follows the story of a autistic scientist. As soon as I saw that it had some autistic rep, I'm really curious about how that is written and everything. And she ends up making this new, either device, or she finds this new energy of some sort that ends up kind of almost destroying the universe. And there are these gods in this universe that instead of punishing her, they are forcing her to help her track down her old mentor, who he's actually plotting to, I think, end the world or universe type of thing. It sounds really crazy. I'm really curious about the the autistic representation, and I'm really want to get more into sci-fi this year. The next one is a middle grade fantasy, which I've seen it popped up kind of everywhere, and I'm really interested in it because it sounds really cute. And that is Nevermore, The Trials of Morgan Crow by Jessica Townsend. This is a magical school that they have to do trials. This one girl, she was born on the most unluckiest day of the year, and she is fated to die on her 11th birthday unless she goes to the school and can kind of fix it. I've heard a lot of really good things, and like I said, I kept seeing it mentioned, and I'm trying to read more middle grade fantasy because honestly, I just absolutely always end up loving it. There's just something about it. It's not that it's simple, because that's, I feel like, the wrong word to use, because it's not. It's just the flow of it and everything is always just so much fun, and the magic and stuff is just, I just always enjoy it. I don't even know how to talk about why I enjoy it so much, but I do, so I'm very excited for this one. I'm hoping to get this on a TBR near the beginning of the year. This next one was a cover buy that I had put on my wish list a while ago, and then it was always expensive, it never went on sale. I finally found it on sale, and I was very excited for that, and it sounds really cool, and that is The Sisters Grimm by Mena Van Praag. This is a retelling, reimagining of fairy tales. They say it's a really good modern retake of fairy tales. He was a king, or a dark god or something like that. He wanted to dominate the world. He ends up having these 4 daughters that are supposed to lead his armies of darkness, and they end up getting separated from each other and brought into, I believe, our world, away from magic and stuff, and they don't remember each other. They don't remember the magic, but on their 18th birthday, they start remembering these things, and they want to get back to their world to, I don't know, I'm hoping to join the evil army, I'm hoping that, but yeah, it says it's some kind of gladiator type things, going duel to the death, so I'm very curious about this one. I've been dying to read this, so I'm very excited to finally have a copy of it. The next 2 are short stories. The next one is Binti by Nnedi Okorafor. This is a fantasy, sci-fi, but it seems to have some kind of fantasy elements to it. It sounds really cool. We have a girl named Binti who she decides to leave her home to attend it's supposed to be the most elite school in the universe, and she wants to travel. They say, I think this is kind of a Star Trek-y thingy, but she also ends up in this war that's been going on forever, and I'm very curious about this one. I don't like reading too much about what short stories are for, because I feel sometimes they give away a lot because we don't have that much going in. But I'm very excited for this one. I had seen the cover a couple times before, and I thought it was absolutely beautiful. So I managed to get it on sale, so that was great. And then the last one is it was a complete cover want for me, and then it sounds even more cool than the cover, which is saying a lot because this cover is phenomenal. And that is The Order of the Pure Moon Reflected in Water by Zen Cho. Look at that cover. Look at it. It is absolutely gorgeous. This is the story of, I think he's like a martial arts warrior. I'm not like sure if it's like a samurai or what, but he ends up having to join with a group of thieves to protect this sacred object. Definitely up my alley type of things. I love anything to do with thieves. I love anything to do with martial arts. After coming off the amazingness that was The Shadow and the Fox, I want to read more with Asian inspired. But yes, so I am very excited for this one. I'm going to try and get this on a February TBR. If not, if I finish my TBR for January soon, I'm early, which I might. It all depends on if my audiobook hold for Words of Radiance comes in. But I want to get to this really soon. I like reading short stories. I wasn't a huge fan of them before, but now I am. Like, I always felt like you weren't going to get like completely satisfied with a short story, because I feel like how can they wrap up so much in so little? But I am definitely changed my mind on that. I read quite a few short stories last year and I am like hooked now, so I am very, very excited for those. But yes, there we go. That was my reading week. That was me buying books that I probably shouldn't have bought, but hey, whatever. So that is what's what. I would love to know what you read this week. Are you doing any readathons? Because I'm still doing my 2 and I'm working on those. But yeah, I would love to know what you've read. How's your week going? And if you liked this video, as always, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will check in with you guys later. And as always, happy reading. Bye.